I joined the Hong Kong Kendo Association in 1986. At that time, I was looking for indoor sports after being outside for 13 years in tennis. And because of the weather changes and the rains and thunderstorms that always disrupt my tennis game, so gradually I start to think about something indoor that I can do anytime, anywhere. So I first enrolled in the fencing class because they look really, well, elegant in white. But after I enrolled and I talked to my cousins, and she strongly suggests a female can better prepare herself against any threat or danger with a stick in her hand. And that means when I can grab a stick or bamboo in my hand, and what I need to do is just hit up and down. So she mentioned that to me, and fencing is like something like thrusting. So, well, you cannot stop a guy from coming. So I asked her, and she told me that was kendo because she watched the kendo manga. And then the next day, I called the consul general, the consulate general of Japan in Hong Kong, because kendo is Japanese art. And then they refer me to Ma Sensei of Hong Kong Kendo Association. So I called him up, and then he asked me to pick up a shinai from Daimaru. He didn't even tell me what size and length. So I just picked up a 3.6, and then I paid, and then I joined the class for the first time. And he was my sensei at that time. At the very beginning, I met Ma Sensei, Ma Kin-tak Sensei, and he has moved to Toronto, Canada. After 3-4 months I joined, he left with his family. So he was my sensei for 3 to 4 months. And then since Ma Sensei left, luckily Akemi Holibe Sensei and her parents moved to Hong Kong for long. So her father, he was 5 dan, and then he joined the Hong Kong Kendo Association for several years. So he attended the trainings 3 times a week, and then he picked me and another boy from the beginners group, and 2 of us mainly follow him for like 3 years, 3 to 4 years. All the way is basic. And her father weight is 100 kilo. And what we need to do is men tai tali, not men tai tali hikimen, but men tai tali. We need to use all the energy to push him from going back. And then we do that kurikaishi, repeat and repeat and repeat. And after like 30 minutes of that, and he will release us to join the rest of the group, like other basic training and keiko. So that experience was really hard because I was like 50 kilo at that time. So it was tough for me, but very good memory and very good experience. Actually, during my beginner's year, there were quite a lot of Japanese sensei or kendoka visiting Hong Kong, just too many to name. What I can say they have one thing in common. They're very passionate in kendo. So they know my level is just a beginner. They still grabbed my hands and told me how to do a proper kamae, footwork, postures, keep your backbone straight, and how to hit with a big strike. So they all share with me the same advice. And even though after we left the dojo, we normally escort the sensei for dinner or lunch or dim sum lunch. and they still grab my hands and they keep talking about kendo, how important are the kendo basics, and I'm just telling myself, well, being a beginner, it's not worth for them to share a lot of advice to me, because at that time, to be honest, it's like beam of lights. You told me a lot of things in my left ear, and then after a few hours, they all leave from my right ear. So I didn't take any notes, so it was very difficult to remember everything until someone remind me to write down on a piece of paper, put that paper inside my man. So every time when I start dressing up my kendogi hakama, I prepare my kote man, everything, kendogui, then I look at that piece of paper and remind myself, okay, you have to do this, 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 and this. And then I was very impressed. Despite I couldn't speak any Japanese at that time, I couldn't drink. They were trying to share their advice, their experiences with me in Japanese. And it's very strange. Somehow I can understand a little bit. So that was very impressive. The association was founded in 1970. So when I joined the association, it was like 1986. And the Lady Kenshi was accountable for, I should say, less than 10% of the kendo population at that time. And the development of female kendo was really relatively at slower pace. We don't have any seminar for female. We don't have any female sensei, except of course Akemi Holibe sensei, but at that time she was running her own dojo. So sometimes she joined the practice with the association, but not every time. And imagine her high level, it's not easy sometimes even to follow her advice. Eda-chan, Eda-chan, you have to do the Debana Kote, motto hayaku hayaku. But I understand the meaning, but I couldn't do at that time because I was hitting with a big Kote from Holibe Sensei, so her father. So, but the advice was very good. And then what I can say is at that time, male and females, they join in the Keiko, in the basic, even in the tournament. We don't separate ladies and men. So imagine we have to hit with someone much powerful and taller and speedy and hitting quite hard at that time. As a beginner, I can say, because when someone was hitting on my man, I feel that kind of vibration. But I saw all my senpai still alive, so I told myself, okay, this is safe. So at that time, the ladies gather in the changing room, and then we start blah, 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 sharing our experience. At that time, we didn't use the right wording, but now I can tell you it's like suffering keiko. We joined the dojo, but it was like suffering. Although we walked out the dojo alive, but that experience, the training was like suffering. And we just keep telling ourselves if we want to stay and continue kendo, so we have to find our way. But what is our way? We have no idea at all. And even we asked our senpai at that time, they said, okay, for generation, we were trained in the same way. So everyone improve and grow up and achieve higher dan. So they believe the lady should be doing the same as the male. So we continue to practice and gaman, be patient. We three of us, three ladies, I cannot say the three top ladies, but the three old ladies, we try to organize the ladies sections, and we try to invite the ladies from all other dojos to join. Maybe it's just like once a month, because once a week means it's very difficult for them. they have to, some of them are national team members, some of them have to go back to the dojo. So unfortunately, that section no longer exists. It has stopped already because day by day, we don't see a lot of ladies coming here because it's all about the teaching culture. Every dojo have their own teaching way. So what the three of us believe, of course, we want to let the ladies improve more basics, and they have a chance to do keiko, wasa with only ladies, to give them some kind of, like they feel safe, they feel comfortable doing the practice with the ladies. When we start to bring them back to the basic, and maybe some of them feel like, okay, I have this in my dojo, or someone feel like this is quite slow, we want something more aggressive. So gradually, they didn't tell me the reason why they don't come anymore, but we start to see less and less ladies come. And we mentioned about inviting, for instance, Akemi Sensei to come to Hong Kong to host a ladies seminar. However, because of the budget, and as I told you, Kendo is a male dominant. So probably the feedback will be, how about we invite Eda Sensei here, so he can also teach the ladies. And for that, I don't object. I feel this is good. But when we invite the sensei here, the sessions is all combined with boys and girls. So what maybe the sensei believes Kirikai is same this way, is same to boys and girls, no difference. So actually, up to now, to my disappointment, we never have a lady to visit us in Hong Kong. So this is the only thing I regret. And because at that time, three of us were the top ladies in Hong Kong, so the president wants us to organize. And yeah, to organize the syllabus, and it's mainly, that includes also Kendo Kata. Because we don't want to isolate the ladies from the male, but we want to let them feel, okay, now you can be more relaxed to do keiko with all ladies only. You don't need to be afraid. But sometimes, I don't know, maybe they go back to the dojo and the sensei asks them what kind of practice you're doing. And then they tell him, maybe their sensei means they're my senpai. Okay, so maybe they think, okay, we're doing this. Well, so maybe this is the way they think. Why the girls have to spare one day in a month to go there? Yeah, actually, we planned everything, and we all order white kendo gear and hakama. We took a photo. That was a great memory. So I'm not saying it's not possible in the future. I hope we will try to have this session back again. So this is what we need to plan in the future. The problem here is many teenagers will start to go overseas for studies. This is the culture here. The parents will stay here and the kids will go abroad. So that is why we always have that gap in Kendo. And our senpai setting up many Kendo clubs in the universities and college. And somehow when it comes to examination, they cannot afford to go to the dojo, even though the dojo is in the same university area. They can just go there in the slippers and jeans because they can keep the shinai there. But during the examination or studies period, it's very difficult for them to continue. Yeah, once after they graduate, probably they find a job and they have to focus on the job, and it's difficult for them. And now since we have the lockdown, we have the social unrest and also the COVID. So actually, for 2 years, some members already stopped coming. And during the social unrest, also many teenagers stopped coming because the parents just worry about them walking on the street with carrying something long. And you know, the teenager, they like to wear dark t-shirts, dark jeans, and black masks. So in that situation, the parents suggest the teenager don't come, or sometimes the parents have to escort them back to the dojo and back home. For my dojo, it was not my idea or target to set up my dojo and recruit hundreds of members and to turn it into business. But at that time, I was helping some Japanese sensei who were working in Hong Kong, and they were leading coaching the beginners class. So our dojo is like half belongs to the senior members. They were doing keiko. Another half is shared by like 18 to 20 beginner. So that Japanese sensei was coaching, but he need me to do some kind of translation in Cantonese. So I was helping him, and gradually I knew what he was teaching. So sometimes he couldn't come to the dojo, so he asked me to be the assistant to organize the group. And for 30 minutes, and after that, everyone will join the whole group in the practice. So that's why I've been involved in the beginners class for quite many years, until one day the Hong Kong, the local sports authority said, okay, now you only have a dojo in that area. We want the association to spread out, expand. Some people will go to the countryside, some people will go to the Kowloon side or Hong Kong Island. Please do not do kendo in the same area. So they want us to expand. And that's why what we can do is, now we have 10 dojos under the association. So all the dojo masters we were a member of the Hong Kong Kendo Association. So when we set up the dojo, we need to have basically 3 members with total of 10 dan. That means the association can trust our teaching. Instead of 3 first dan, we'll set up a dojo. So that was when I decided to set up the dojo with another 2 kendo friends in 1997. Yes, actually, again, back to Akemi Sensei's father, he was the first sensei to me, and also a Japanese sensei to me. Why I'm saying that, it's at that time our senpai grade is still like around 4th dan, 3 dan, 4 dan, 5 dan. And Holibe Sensei, I think we don't even have 5 dan. Holibe Sensei's father was 5 dan, and we still have some Japanese sensei, not many of them working in Hong Kong, but they only show up on Sunday keiko. Because, you know, the Japanese companies, normally they don't have time to come in the evening. So Holibe Sensei can attend 3 times in a week on time. He is always early in the dojo waiting for us. So what I want to say is I was quite lucky to have him coaching me in my beginner's day or beginner's year. Yes, because as I mentioned, we don't have many higher dan senpai in Hong Kong or Japanese sensei to form the grading panel. So I was taking the 4th dan in 1995 in Miyazaki Ken. And also in 1999 for 5 dan, also I went to Miyazaki Prefecture. The reason is there was one Japanese teacher in Hong Kong. He was teaching in the Hong Kong Japanese school. So he recommended us, and because through his relations, we sent our applications form to Miyazaki Kendo Renmei. So they have our application done, and then most of us went to Miyazaki Ken. For me, it's 1995 and 1999. And for my sixth dan, it was in 2005 in Nagoya. So talking about fourth dan, fifth dan experience, it was quite a shock to me because I didn't expect, because I've been doing practice and training in Hong Kong. So I know like what is the Hong Kong kendo style like. But when you go to Japan, um, most of them are male and some ladies, but I was very shocked because they show me something very spiritual, which I never experienced in Hong Kong. When they start the kiai, the hitting was sharp. I can hear someone hitting on my man was really sharp, not painful, but sharp. And also the high tension, the focus. And that was why when I thought I was ready for the grading, and then when they said Hajime, I felt, wow, this something wrong, because I was totally taken by surprise of this opponent's behavior and mental strength. So actually, I passed. I remember, I think twice, I passed somehow. But that experience was unforgettable. But to my regret, when I returned back to Hong Kong, I was still thinking that kind of mental strength and spirit. But after a few months practicing with the Hong Kong members, gradually I'm back to our own culture. So that was what I regret until now, that I didn't really put that in mind. But somehow it was quite very good experience. And in Hong Kong, our keiko at that time was around 5 to 8 minutes for one keiko. So you can imagine it was like a marathon. But somehow I asked my senpai why we were doing such a long keiko, and then they said they want to see our mental strength. We keep all that spirit up until the end of the keiko. But somehow I find it very difficult because between gaps, I need some rest mentally, maybe 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So that moment was like my opponent can sense, so he hits. So this is something I cannot understand. After 5 to 8 minutes, I start to feel tired. My legs were shaking, and my strikes were not accurate or too soft, sometimes too close or miss. But somehow I managed to finish the keiko until my senpai said, Yame Songkyo. So that was how we were brought up in these years. Actually, I participated 6 times. I don't know why so many times. So the first time in 1991 in Toronto, my first championship when I was still a beginner. We don't have many ladies in Hong Kong, so at that time I can still remember they only have individual for ladies. So we joined the individual match, and then we didn't take that seriously because we say, okay, it's a tournament, okay, let's pack and train and let's pack and get on the flight. And then we check in at the Toronto University. Our team was staying there, but we find every night we couldn't sleep because it was really hot. And then all the aircon was locked. We couldn't turn on the aircon. Even we keep all the windows open, we couldn't sleep. We found our pillows and bed sheet all wet. So I was with my senpai in the same room, and in the midnight we woke up like 2-3 times, take a cold shower and back to sleep. And that was experience. And talking about the tournament, it was also the stage was huge, the venue was big, and then the first time there, I saw a lot of foreign ladies, blonde, and frankly speaking, I seldom practice, or we never practice with the foreign ladies. And mainly in Hong Kong, as I mentioned, our targets always gentlemen. So we seldom practice with ladies. So, well, we lost, but it was an experience in Toronto. In 1994 in Paris, I was there with Akemi Sensei joined the team, and that gives me the pressure. And another lady also from Hong Kong. So 3 ladies, we joined the ladies individual. We joined the team actually. We have a 3 ladies team. And Akemi Sensei assigned me to submit the sequence. Unfortunately, I made a mistake. I put myself as the taisho. I thought I respect Akemi Sensei first, so I put her name first, and then the lady second, and I was the last. And end up, I found out myself was the taisho. So I asked Akemi Sensei how to do. I messed up everything. She said, "No, don't worry, we just fight." So actually, she won the match, but her match, but the second and me, we lost. So I remember I was crying all the way back to the stage and start to pack and sitting there and crying. Because I don't know why I made such a mistake. But Akemi Sensei said, anyway, no problem, that was an experience. And 2000, I was in Santa Clara. So this time, mentally, I start to become more mature. Okay, you have to be more serious. This is a world championship. You're going to fight foreign ladies. So my fighting spirit was getting better than the previous two championships. And then in 2003, I was in Glasgow. We managed to stay, we didn't stay at the official hotel, rather we choose a motel near to the venue at walking distance. Because in Santa Clara, I remember when the coach arrived, we were actually waiting on the line for the coach, but somehow the coach stopped somewhere and other teams got on the coach. And end up, some of us couldn't get on the coach, the last one. So we have to get a taxi, a cab, and rush to the venue. So that was a very bad experience. And then therefore in Glasgow, we booked a nearby motel. And it was quiet and good. Everyone can concentrate. And I was with another lady in sharing a twin room. But frankly speaking, at 10:30 in the evening, it's still daylight. I just told my roommate I couldn't sleep. And then she said, you have to sleep, it's 10:30 now. I said, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, that was another experience. And in 2006, we joined the championship in Chinese Taipei in Taiwan. So that was the best result for the Hong Kong team. The ladies team managed to be in the best 16, and I got the Fighting Spirit Award. So that was the best ever for the Hong Kong ladies in the championship. So recalling the Chinese Taipei, actually Hong Kong team was fighting with the Japanese team. So you can imagine the result is 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, maybe less than 1 minute. So we can all imagine, because we have been watching the Japanese ladies fighting. Oh, so normally it's around 30 seconds to 40 seconds. The match they already score, and the match is finished. So before that championship, the Hong Kong team, with the help of Sumi Sensei, we went to Fukuoka for training, and we went to the global arena. And there, the Japanese ladies team also trained there. So we just follow a little bit, but somehow we separate because, you know, they were far more skillful. So we were doing our part and they were doing our part. So probably I fight with these ladies in maybe in the keiko. So on the day of my match, I didn't seem to be quite nervous. I felt like it was a keiko. So I enjoy a lot. And somehow I don't know why I lost a hikikote, because I felt the strike was on my kobushi. But the reaction was quick and the judge raised the flag. So I felt like at that time I said, why? But now I realized, okay, no problem. Shiai is Shiai. Because probably the timing was good, and you know, the Japanese ladies kendo is really speedy and and skillful, excuse me. So I shouldn't blame for that. So actually I struggle seme and keep moving around like a kangaroo. And so probably the Taisho lost my pace, and gradually time's up, I lost Ippon instead of 2. And I suffered still until the end of until time's up. So I was happy with that tournament and my performance. And then back to my last championship in 2012 in Novara in Italy. And this one, I told myself that will be my last one. Because when I show up in the championship with player's ID card, I met some of my opponents from Holland and Italy. And then, well, we say hello to each other. And then the first thing they asked me, are you the manager or the coach of the Hong Kong ladies? I said, no. Then, why are you here? So I turned my ID and showed to them, player, are you still playing? Are you crazy? You should be doing, well, coach or manager or kind of assistant. I said, we don't have enough ladies and I like to join the match. So I feel like I can still do it. So they said, okay, anyway, you're crazy, but good luck to you. So there I was in Novara, but I joined only the individual. I didn't join the team because before in the preparation, the training was really hard. So we had 2 training in a week for 3 years in preparation for the WKC. So I told the coach, honestly, I said my body condition, I couldn't survive like this kind of training. So he said, okay, no worry, you just do your pace. So I said, to be fair, I want to join the individual, because those ladies who were doing the hard training, they deserve to be in the team, and also the individual. So the coach agreed, and then I joined my individual. But unfortunately, I had a very bad jet lag after arrival in Italy. After the 3rd day, I just locked up myself in my room. 2.5 days, I was just sleeping, only getting up to washroom, water, and then back to bed. So my roommate thought I was sick. I said, no fever, nothing. I just want to rest, sleep. So I had my individual match, but my head was still very heavy because I've been in bed for 2.5 days. So my head was still dizzy, but I tried to finish my match. And that told me that's the end to my WKC memory. But I had no regret at all joining all these 6, because I met a lot of friends, and it was very good experience there. And I loved the keiko there with, well, like hundreds of people around. So the feeling was great, and I feel very honored to be there. Until now, I feel like it's quite unfair for ladies to participate in both individual and team matches on the same day. Because imagine in the morning we have to do a warming up, and then we get ready for the individual. Of course, we fight full spirit. We cannot say, okay, I fight this 2 match, just just try to wrap up the match quickly because I want to do the team. We need to fight our best, and after the matches, then we have to move and prepare, or we have to take a rest. If we are in the first round, if we are out, then we have to take a rest and prepare for the team matches. So it's quite a long, tiring experience for the ladies. Imagine we pay the same ticket fare, the same ticket money, same hotel money. We travel same distance to Novara, Paris, UK, USA, and then just one day our match is all finished. And then, of course, the coach say we can do some, we are still useful because we can help the boys to register, to pick up the lunchbox, whatever. So we still enjoy serving the boys. They have 2 days fight. But when we take the same flight back to Hong Kong, and then we are thinking, wow, just not one day, I should say just half day, we are done. After all this preparation, everything, we are done. So I think it would be fair if the ladies championship could be like male. At least we have 1 day rest. I think that's very important. Unless that country can spare 9 ladies and 4 ladies involved in the individuals and 5 ladies involved in the teams. Otherwise, talking about like Hong Kong, like in 20, 30 years ago, we can only spare 3 ladies. So imagine that kind of experience. Well, that was past, so I don't want to say a lot of complaint, but now I'm thinking for the ladies in the future, they should deserve the same treatment, to be equal with male. Yes, 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 my answer. The reason why it's in these 34 years, I was involved in player, I was involved in referee, I was involved in the grading panel, and I was one of the committee members. Actually, I was the secretary. And also, I was teaching in my dojo after I set up my dojo. So when I have all these duties, responsibilities with me, and I was still going back to training like 2 to 3 times a week. And then my dojo is 1 to 2 times. So actually about 5 days I've been doing kendo. And that's why I have 3 kendo gi hanging back in the kitchen. And then my mother always complained, well, why all these are so wet? You should hang them out. And why every one is semi-dry and one is wet and another one is very wet. So she's asking me if I'm doing laundry every night. I said, no, these are sweat. Because at that time, we were using the quite thick material, the kendo gi. So once I put in the washing machine, it will take like 3-4 days to dry. And imagine the humidity here, it's not possible. So I have, after 1 keiko, I just hang them up until it's dry. And then the next week, I will reduce that one before I put into the laundry machine. And for player, again, we have to practice with boys and keiko, shiai, everything. So we have to find like, well, we have to find our way out, how to practice with them. But you know, kendo, it's, you cannot have the improvement overnight. I want to hit him, I want to hit that boy before he does, but it's always too late. When my mind said I want to do this, but my body, my limbs actually is not ready. So I understand everything needs to be back to the basic. And then I was invited to be on the grading panel for first dan or the Q test. So we can start to be like a trainee. And also the refereeing, sometimes we misjudge, and then I regret because already my hand and the white flag is up. So the judge, the sensei told us, once you decide to do that, please keep that decision and don't keep changing. So for many times we have misjudged. And then I regret, and then I asked the sensei and senpai how to improve. So they, for the senpai, they teach me, okay, you have to look carefully, you have to be in a good position, and you have to make sure you look at the two other referees and the two players. So all these are very basic, like a guidelines. And then until I was in Japan, I asked the sensei, and then they said, Keiko, please do more Keiko. So one day you will be able to judge. If you never Keiko or your Keiko is not enough, you won't be able to judge. And also I asked them, for kids, we have enjoyed like 20 minutes. They cannot score ippon. So the sensei said, please, the kids are kids. Even the hit is very light, you have to agree that is ippon. And the kids, well, after 2 minutes, they could be exhausted. So either one of them show the spirit, the strike you think is okay, that is good enough. So please raise the flag. So there we learn from the sensei, okay, we made a lot of mistakes before. I want to apologize to some kids, but they end up crying, sitting next to their parents because they lost. So we understand we need some kind of hamsters to help us improve. But we try to coach other referee trainee also. I think it's very difficult. We study from books or just by listening to advice. It's very difficult. So I agree we have to do more keiko. So we can judge why that is called a ippon. What are the elements behind that you can judge that to be ippon? And also teaching in my dojo, I was teaching with adults, and then Akemi Sensei, she decided to leave Hong Kong before the hangover of Hong Kong. And then she passed all her kids, kendo kids, to my dojo. There are like 25 of them, all Japanese kids. So there I start to learn Japanese, how to communicate with them. And I was still giving them the same kind of food my senpai, my sensei told me to do. So there we have, we carry on for a few years until gradually one day when the kids were sitting in front of me, and then when I removed my man, and then they removed the man, I saw the face. They are not happy. They were exhausted, and they were not, they don't show me that kind of interest in kendo. Looks like they look like sleepy. They want to go home. And then they just, when the parents leading them out the door, I saw some of them just bow, no smile at all. So I start to feel like there's something wrong in the practice. So I try to give some games for 5 minutes to cheer them up, and some running, skip, hashiru, your core twist. So let them enjoy and laugh. I can feel that atmosphere is very nice. And then they start to approach me, they come close to me, they pull my hakama because they were quite small. And then looks like it was fruitful. I mean, my strategy was successful. So gradually, you know, the kids, they have to do highest bully. So like my senpai said, okay, highest bully 20 times. And then the kids said, ah. So I said, highest bully. It sounds to them like it's very tough. They don't enjoy highest bully because it's not easy to jump with the swing. So I said, okay, so let's try, first 10 times we try Japanese counting. And then after 10 times, I said, they look at me. So I said, okay, then English. And then they start to smile. So actually all the kids, they can speak Japanese. They can speak English. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they jump until 10. And then they look at me. And then that time, Mandarin or Putonghua not popular in Hong Kong. So I said Cantonese. And then one boy said, Ya, Yi, San, say, and then the rest laughing. So they enjoyed the first 30 times. And after that, Japanese. And another boy said, English. So I start to feel like they enjoy. So gradually we did 120 times that day by using different language. So that was the, if I don't put myself in the teaching or coaching, if I just assign someone, probably I will be doing the same kind of training ever since like 34 years ago. So for that, I have no regret at all. Kendo, after all, is keiko, keiko, keiko. It's always experience. And regarding the last item, which is the committee side, we are the main decision body in the association. And most of the committee members are not higher than. We are like average, maybe first Nissan dan, because we are willing to help. We don't complain. Sometimes we work till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the midnight. We don't have any complaint. But sometimes after we agreed on a decision or solution, of course the chairman and the vice chairman is our senpai, the higher dan. So gradually when we announce the solutions or decisions, we get some voices from some other seniors that I feel very depressed. They don't appreciate our job. After work, we have to have the committee members meeting for 3 hours. I have to draft the minutes. I have to type everything and then announce, and then some of them complain. So that made me feel very sad. For sometimes, like the next or coming questions, I want to stop Kendo because that is very discouraging. And gradually, I start to feel like after Kendo, if we have a small gathering, then we can understand each other. So gradually, we share some conversation, and I feel the relations become better with myself and our senpai, some other members who don't appreciate what we have done. So that was a great improvement. If Kendo allows ladies to join, then everything should be equal to both ladies and male. Like the tournament, Shiai should be separate. In Hong Kong, we had everything together because the ladies never get hurt. And many times the ladies beat the men. So that makes people feel like, why should we separate male and female? And then I said, if something happens, you have to call the ambulance. Oh, we have 3 judges. 3 judges will say Yame. The main judge will say Yame. If the 3 judges ignore or hesitate to stop the match, then we have a Shimpanjo. I said, no, if someone just pushed me down and the back of my head hit on the floor and then I pass out, it's too late for them to say Yame. And because I was one of the sufferer, I was the one who suffered the injury. Hong Kong ladies fight against the Beijing men's team. I was the Taisho. The Senpo Jiho, Chugen, Fukusho, Hong Kong ladies won 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. So the Beijing Taisho, he wants to gain face. So he wants to beat me and at least win the match. So he start, from Hajime, he start pushing me, just push. He want to push me out. And then Sri Shimban, no one say Yame. Both of us just like doing wrestling. And then the chief judge between us, he was a Japanese fourth dan. He was staying in Guangzhou, China, but he came to Hong Kong to help us with the referee. His look, I remember his look, he was scared. He opened his mouth, his eyes big open, just like he was watching what is going on here. So keep pushing and pushing, and then we separate ourselves. And then I was so angry, so I did the tsuki, which was very good tsuki, but I was doing it with anger. So I have no jansin from the tsuki, pushing his tsuki, just pushing him. And then Yame, and then Kamai again. And then he gave me back a tsuki. But his shinai went into my neck and my man, between my neck and my man. And it was stuck in there. So he tried to pull up. Like imagine you try to open a bottle of beer with the opener. He was doing that. So he had my man half open, half removed. And then after that, I didn't feel any pain, but after that, after 2 days, I started to feel dizzy, very dizzy. And I was worrying something may have gone wrong with the blood vessels in my neck, the MRI. And then luckily the report was okay. And for 1 week, I didn't feel well, just dizzy. I was on the taxi, and then my head just went on the window and just falling asleep. So that continued for 1 week. And then I complained to the association. I said, you should separate male and female. And also, to my surprise, after the match, because I think the audience saw everything. And then after Songkyo and Late, and then I moved back and take off my man. And then I saw like more than 20 people coming to me. Are you okay? Are you okay? And then my opponent also came here and say sorry. I was still angry. Oh, why are you pushing me? Blah, 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 blah. And then he said, I'm so sorry, Miss Chen, because my team, 4 guys lost to your team, to the Hong Kong ladies. So I want to have some kind of face. So he was a champion of a kind of Chinese martial arts. So anyway, he apologized to me and we became friends. But and then I moved back to, well, I finished the match, and then well, we wait for the announcement, the result. And then that moment, I want to tell you, there was a Japanese Shimbancho sitting in the middle of the court. So I went past him, and then he said to me only, "Otsukare-sama deshita." And then later I was thinking, if the street judge not making any decision to stop the match, then the Shimbancho responsibility. He was sitting there also. That means they feel like nothing will happen. This is Kendo. So I told the president, we have 2 goalkeepers. 3 referees didn't say anything, and then the last goalkeeper didn't do anything. So I said, if someone just fell down and well, just pass out or just pass away, so I think the association will have a big problem. Because that time we don't have any third-party insurance, nothing at all. And no disclaimer form. Nobody signed any disclaimer. They always believe Kendo has been safe since 1970, since the association was set up. Every time nobody died or yeah. I said that was lucky. So I insist, otherwise I will not join any tournament. And that was I forgot which championship. That was before the championship. And then I dropped out the ladies team. I said I was not well. I couldn't join the ladies practice. But already I enrolled, so I said I will be there. I can be a substitute. If you need me or someone not feeling well, I can be there. So gradually I dropped out the ladies team because not because of my anger, but that was a shadow. I was scared what would happen to me in the Keiko or Shiai. So I told the coach, I'm sorry. Then he tried to ask me to join. I said, I will still go because I have my air ticket already. I have my annual leave already. So I want to be there. I can help the team. Honestly, I'm not ready to put on the man again. So I still have that kind of memory. So gradually, association decide to separate male and female. Many senpai still object. If we do this, means it will take more time. I said, no, one court for male, one court for female. Female finish, and then that court you can have the male to carry on. So two courts. And then they complain when they need to do some separate shit for ladies. And so you can imagine how do I feel at that moment. They simply don't care about, they don't understand. They feel like it's time consuming. It's a waste of time. Don't worry. Nobody ever get badly injured. Nothing happened so bad in Hong Kong Kendo history. So finally, we separate the match. Yeah, so you can say I'm the pioneer to separate. I tried to reject her. I said, please send them to the association because I never teach kids because I don't have kids myself. So I feel like they all like the little creatures jumping, screaming. So I think I'm not able to handle them. And they all speak Japanese. So Akemi Sensei said, don't worry, she will assign Masahiro, her brother, to help me in the class. So I feel more comfortable. But sometimes, you know, Masahiro Sensei, he's working, he has a job. So sometimes he cannot show up. So I was left alone with the kids. To me, that was torture. But I also learned how to live with them. Just like what people say nowadays, maybe it will become true one day. We have to live with the COVID. So how do we live with these little creatures and make sure everyone is happy? And yeah, it was sad, but all these kids already left, returned to Japan. And also I had 33 Japanese new kids in my dojo. And until 10 years ago, 10 or 13 years ago, when Hong Kong was hit by the SARS, the virus, which is almost like the same family of COVID. So with the Japanese government announcement, all the family, the kids and the wife have to move back to Japan for safety. So there I lost all the Japanese kids. And that time, that's why I believe in what the Chinese saying, when the grass or the trees, the plants die, the new one will come out. So my dojo, all the kids gone. I was also shocked. What do I do now? There was no kids here. So day by day, some local kids come. The parents knock on the door and say, is this a kendo class? Can we have a look? I want my kids to join. So gradually, now we have more local kids. Gradually now I have 14 local kids, not as many as 33, but 14, they focus, they are nice boys, nice girls. Yeah, so I'm happy with them. Yes. Many times I want to stop. And when you mention about stopping means you don't go back to dojo. You just simply go to movie or having ice cream or just stay home and watch TV, which I have done for a few times. But when I was doing that, I went to a cinema, I get a ticket. I went to cinema 7:30, the movie starts 7:30, exactly our K-pop time. I was happy with the pack of popcorn and Coke. But after the movie, almost the same time the members finished the K-pop, I felt like something is missing. My happiness is gone. So I feel like I want to take a bus and to that restaurant where everyone always gather after the K-pop. So gradually I show up there And then they said, oh, you didn't come to practice. I said I didn't feel well. So I somehow I want to join them for the drinks. If you don't feel well, you should go home. I said, no, no, no. Now I feel like, because we always gather, so I feel like this can make me feel better. And then we were sitting there, and there were like 15 people sitting on a long table. And then I start to feel I was lost. I had no conversation. I was like a dummy sitting, drinking, eating my noodles, and everyone was chatting about the K-core this evening, but I had nothing to share with them. So I told myself, God, I have to start packing for the next K-core. So I went home and packed, and after 3 days, I joined the practice. And until some problem came up or discouragement, that I decided to take a stop. And then another time I was so angry, some politics, because talking about Japanese and Hong Kong culture, sometimes we have little difference in our culture. So sometimes the Japanese side thinks this is workable, but for us, we think we may need to fine tune a little bit. So sometimes we have a little disagreement. So I was quite annoyed, because I was thinking, okay, this sensei quite high down, and why would they have a second opinion, or why would they disagree with the committee decision? So again, I buried myself. I was angry. I just show up in the dojo after work, no bogu, no shinai. And everyone look at me. Eda Chen, why you don't keiko tonight? I have fever, I'm not well. So you go home. No, 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 no. I just finished work. My office is near to the dojo. So I just sit there, and then I said, okay, I will see you guys suffering the kirikaishi. And then after, when they start with the kirikaishi, my heartbeat start to jump the same pace. So my hands become itchy, my legs, so I couldn't hold myself just sitting on the chair. So I stood up and borrowed my senpai shinai, and I was doing some kind of swinging behind. And the senpai came to me and said, stop, put down the shinai and sit down. You are sick. You should not be doing anything. Just watch. And then I look at the clock. I won't make it if I go home and get my bogu. So I told myself, I'm finished. I was just sitting there like a dummy with a lot of regret. So actually, I'm telling some of my students, one day if you find Kendo is no longer quite an interest to you, then you try to come back, give me a lie, excuse, you're not well. So just please sit there and watch. And after our practice is finished, please tell yourself if you want to do it, or you feel nothing happened, okay? Or you feel like, okay, I missed today practice, I regret. So I'm teaching our students, please try to do this, rather than if you don't feel like doing Kendo anymore, please don't walk with your bogu bag like a camel or turtle, because my taxi just passed through them and they were still walking so slow, means they have something bothering them. Okay, this is a very interesting topic, a very hot topic. So most ladies, I agreed most of them have mentally, they were quite stronger than male. And not talking about just the mental strength, but also patience. The ladies are incredible. But somehow the ladies feel like they can be equally powerful and speedy than the boys. So my advice is that they should not be doing the same kind of kendo as the boys. And female, first of all, they should understand their own character. Someone tend to be aggressive, someone tend to be very smart in creating chance opportunities, and someone tend to be hesitate. So please, the first thing is please try to find out, write down on a piece of paper what sort of characters you belong to. And then also please check your physical build, you're tall, you're short, whatever. Please try to find out, know more about yourself, because it doesn't make sense if a lady like 5 feet and keep hitting men against a male who is much higher, much taller than her. So I'm not saying that she shouldn't hit men, but she has to be smart. There are a lot of wasa she can do, and sometimes the male will be surprised that she can react with some kind of wasa. So when the male just start to hesitate for seconds, I think it's a good chance for the lady, for the female to go for the man. So this is just in terms of my expression, but actually they need to find out by themselves in the K-core. So ladies should try to develop their own style. Especially they need to do a lot of improvement in the footwork, using different types of footwork, and also keeping proper distance, because ladies are using shorter shinai, for instance 3.8 and male is 3.9. So when the ladies want to move in and she feels safe, she feels this is the distance for the man, for hitting the man, actually she falls into the trap that actually once she move in, approach, the male can easily hit on her. So she needs to find what is the proper distance, depends on her opponent. And the timing, opportunity, this one, of course, at the later stage, when after they have developed the wasa basics, then they can start to move on with timing and opportunities. And my advice is very important for female to continue kendo, especially when they reach middle age like me. If they never go back to improve their muscles or the footwork, so once they reach 50 years old, they can start to see the muscles endurance will start to go down. Not on a slow pace, but quite fast. So they can see once they reach 50 years old, there can be a big difference between the lady and the male she's fighting against. Like I was in Japan, I was fighting, that time was 58, I was fighting with a gentleman, 65. And he was doing a lot of topikomi man. So sharp and so speedy, I was taken by surprise. And when I returned back to Hong Kong, I carried that kind of memory. Okay, I want to be like that gentleman. So I tried to follow him, but I find that it's not possible. It's quite difficult. And gradually I tried for weeks and my left Achilles started to be naughty. I started to feel the pain. So I took a rest, and then until I still couldn't find out the answer. But until one day I torn my ACL and I stopped kendo, and I had 8 months of physiotherapy. And there the physiotherapist advised me, your age, and you need to do all these muscles. Even at home, every day, try to do a little bit so you keep your muscles strong. And that was his advice, because he didn't actually know what was kendo about. So I follow his advice, and then I start to focus on my footwork since then. So that was my advice to the ladies. Please try to understand yourself, your character, and your physical build. Try to improve your footwork, not just swinging, holding the shinai, because you don't hit with shinai. Actually, you hit with your footwork. Your footwork just bring you to the proper distance and your arms just go up and down and hit on the target. So I really admire the ladies. So they should be, because when I mentioned about patience, even though in these years in the what we call the suffering Keiko, many ladies still stay behind to continue Kendo. So that was what I mentioned. The ladies, the females have their incredible sides. So please go ahead and don't get depressed. Kendo, after in that 34 years, Kendo is just, to summarize just a few points. It's related to human side, respectfulness, introspection or Hansei, and finally it's perfection. Because in that 34 years, gradually Kendo has changed my character, and I find out it is more human side. But when you were asking me as a beginner, I can never feel that. I just feel like I don't like to practice with this guy. He hits me so hard. I don't like to practice with this senpai. His keiko was too long. So every time it's just complain and complain. And gradually we start to pick on someone who is more moderate in Kendo, like proper advice. So sometimes we pick the mototachi. Actually, we shouldn't be doing that. So in these years, I feel like it's more human side. You have to respect your opponent, and even though they hit on your kote, so please don't get annoyed or angry at them or at him, because I used to do that before. I hate you because you hit on my kote. But actually, until now, I should say thank you to him, because once he hits my kote, means my kote is exposed to someone who can easily hit on my kote. But I'm not trying to hide my kote. So I'm just trying to find out how to do that in the Keiko with the rest of the members. Try not to be easily hit means you need to do something like counter-react instead of just standing there like a dummy. So all this, it's a very good experience to me. So every opponent now, whenever they hit on me, I will keep my spirit, my face, my look in my face, I will keep the same. I will not look to him. I will not say, oh, it's a nice ippo. I never say. But inside me, I will say, Marimashita. He got my man. He got my kote. So the next strike, the next opportunity, I will be more careful. So next comes the introspection. It's like Hansei. It was not easy when I was beginner, or even when I was sandan or yondan. Because what we know is just keiko, 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 hit and hit. Until you reach the higher grade, then you start to, I don't know, my brain start to become more mature. So I start to feel like I have a lot to reveal, to change myself. And about perfection means the only answer is I have to go back to dojo every time. Perfection doesn't mean I can stay home and think about how to be perfect. Perfection means I have to go back to dojo and find out what I can get in that keiko, in that training, and bring it home and try not to lose it, keep it in my pocket, and the next time I will go again. So perfection means many Eitan sensei keep telling me about perfection. You never reach perfection. But that time, I don't know what is perfection, because after I survived 2 hours Keiko, I told myself I was perfect. I have my perfection because I survived. But actually now I can feel from the Eitan Hanshi Sensei what they mean about perfection. So perfection means to reach out no matter how long it will take or how long I can still have myself involved in Kendo. So we don't check on the time, we just check on every time I try to get my perfection. Yes, this is a summary of my 34 years of Kendo. First, they must enjoy Kendo because when they come to join Kendo, I think there's some kind of attraction. Maybe the Kendogi Hakama looks cool, looks very Japanese. Maybe the bogu, the gear looks like a samurai. Most of us were attracted by these elements. But once they step into the dojo, they don't have the Kendogi Hakama yet. What they have is just t-shirt and jogging pants and a piece of shinai. So my advice is first try to find out, try to enjoy Kendo. If they don't understand why they have to do all the swing, subuli, they should ask the sensei why, or the senpai, why we're doing this. And also try to develop their own style, like I mentioned before, their characters and their physical build. And also I would recommend them, don't be afraid of practicing with male, because sometimes male can show you what is speed about. If you see someone faster than you, for instance, in the Ironman, so maybe let's say we agreed to have 5 times Ironman, and then the guy hits me really quick. So when I carry that kind of short memory, I try to copy him in the second strike, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth, rather than doing my own pace. So sometimes it's good to have the practice with the male so you can see what is speed all about. And also try not to be afraid of them. And even they are taller than you, mentally you tell yourself you are taller than them. And in terms of ki, please do not make ki at the same time with your opponent. It's just a waste of energy. Let the opponent make the ki first, like they stand from Songkyo, yeah. So let the opponent make first. And then when the lady comes, the next one to make the ki, of course it will be much louder, stronger. And it's like her ki is like swallowing the opponent ki. It's difficult in terms, but like he made the ki and then my turn to make the ki and then I swallow his ki. So mentally, the lady can help herself to upgrade herself. It doesn't matter that is a guy or taller than her. And lastly, male opponents are very, very, very honest. When they fight with ladies, when they fight with someone shorter than them, they can easily come for men. They don't need to put all the energy, the high tension before they go out for that strike, before they decide to strike. They feel like, okay, you're a lady, okay, you are short, okay, I'm ready, I hit a man. So actually, for the ladies, it's very good chance they do Debana Kote, okay? They do Kaishito, or even they do Debana Man instead of I men together. So they can try to do this in the practice with the male. Try to find more males to practice. But of course, in a tournament, you need to separate male and females just to be safe and to be fair. So this is my answer to all the female Kenshi. Don't give up easily. You have to discuss with the ladies about today's practice and try to agree on something that you really enjoy, that makes you come back to the practice the next time. If you don't understand something, please ask the senpai or sensei. Never keep quiet, because if you keep quiet, that means you always carry the question mark back to the dojo, and then you leave the dojo with question mark. So nowadays we have different culture, the thinkings, everything have changed. So I agree, I think they should step out and ask the sensei, honestly, why we're doing this. So at least someone can give them some short, brief explanation. So the ladies, I think they should be happy with the answer. Oh, I see. So in that case, they are prepared to come back next time to try that out.